Good morning. Happy Monday. Hope everybody enjoyed their weekend. This is the Pitch Right Chronicles. I'm Uncle Tats. I'm here with Rob and Donald. And let's start off with the news that came out yesterday. It was kind of like slipped in the middle of the radio broadcast as I was doing some running around. Luis Hill got tapped as the fifth starter for the rotation.
Let's go, my boy. My boy.
It was a name that was kind of thrown in as, is it going to be him, Warren? Are they going to make a last minute trade? Are they going to make a signing for Monty? We really, until the news broke, there was still a lot of questions of who was going to be the guy. And they are trusting the guy that had gotten the nod, in the major leagues before, as opposed to Warren, who we all rated very highly, but never pitched in the major leagues. I think with the absence of Cole, I think the more I put thought into it, I think giving Hill the fifth spot shows that they valued his, although limited, his experience on the major league level into the equation with the absence of Cole. And I don't think there was a bad decision to be made. I think either way, we would have been like, okay, let's ride. Right? We're days away from opening day. Let's go. Enough bullshit. Enough practice. Enough exhibition. Let's get the season going. And we are just days away. And this is the rotation we have. And I can't complain. I really can't. I'm trying to, you want to try to find something to say they should have done this, they should have done that, because the Yankees have in the past really made us left us scratching our heads by opening day on a decision. I think when it comes to rotation, I can't scratch my head on it. I think it was the right call. How do you guys feel about it?
You want to go first, Donald, or do you want me to take it?
You go first, my guy.
I am so happy for Luis Hill. It really tells you that they value spring training performances more than anything else. They value, and I'm going to trust the team's decision over some troll on Twitter, by the way, just because I know a couple people already pointed that out. It was the right call. Look, there's nothing against Will Warren. He pitched really well this spring, but he wasn't better than Luis Hill. And that's when it came down to. Luis Hill might have been our best pitcher this entire spring training. It was him and Stroman. Like, those two guys, they were pitching lights out. And Luis Hill was pitching so well that other scouts were saying this dude is electric. That's how well he looked this spring. The fastball, the velocity was through the roof. The slider is there still. And that changeup, that's what we've been talking about with him, is developing a third pitch that's going to help him be a starter for longer instead of just immediately transitioning him to the bullpen. He's got that changeup working well. Everything looks good. And yes, CWE, Warren's velo was not that great this spring. So there's clearly some things he needs to work on. He's going to be here. People need to realize that Will Warren will be here at some point this season, but it doesn't mean he had to be on the opening day roster. It doesn't mean the Yankees made the wrong decision. This was the right call. Hill, unfortunately, had his early part of his career derailed due to Tommy John. He looked really good in 2021. Let's not forget that. And then he got hurt. You can't blame the guy for an injury that a lot of pitchers suffer. He worked his way back. He fought his ass off to get back, and he put in the work, and clearly he was the best guy to get the job right now. If they weren't going to add anybody, which it looks like they won't at this point, Luis Hill pitched his way into that rotation. There's no other way about it. If he struggles, then so be it. But the Yankees would be doing themselves a disservice to not at least see what they have in the kid, because knowing that Stroman's only here for 2 years, we don't know what Nestor Cortez is going to be. We don't know what Clark Schmidt's going to be. If you can still get quality innings out of Luis Hill, he's still young. You still have him under control for several years. If you can turn him into a viable starting option, great. And this is the time to do it, because it's been all hands on deck. So I'm very, very happy for him. And I know that Will Warren's going to get his shot, but this is absolutely the right call.
You're my boy, Blue. You're my boy. I'm really happy. I'm very happy for him. And let's be honest here, the Yankees don't make decisions in a vacuum. Like they clearly considered this, thought about the upside, and decided Heel was the option. Heel has outpitched Warren by a good distance. He's outpitched every contender for the 5th spot by a good distance. Luke Weaver wasn't even in the same stratosphere as Luis Heel. Luis Heel absolutely owned it and deserves the opportunity. And I'm very proud of the organization. I think it's a great day for the organization because the organization once again went with the better performer. So Luis Heel earned it. And I love the fact that we're giving the opportunity to someone who's earned it. And he really has earned it. His spring was outrageous. And they weren't trying to reinvent the wheel. They weren't like, all right, let's just shove him in the bullpen and make him an 8th inning man. Let's see if we could get even more out of him by making him a starter. It doesn't mean any disrespect towards Will Warren. He has some things to work on, but he looks like he's got a good future ahead of him because he had a very good spring too, just not to Luis Heel's level. And for those that are worried about his innings and Luis Heel's innings and stuff, well, how else are you going to get innings without actually giving him a start? Let's work that arm up. So let's see what we got out of him. You won't know until you try. I saw Luis Heel back in 2021, and I was really excited about him. The only thing that I was worried about was his location. And this spring has solved that issue. I'm so impressed by his delivery and the ease in which he generates 100 mile an hour off that fastball. And to that point, I got a video, so we'll share that with you guys right now, and we can have a look at some of his strikeouts and very briefly, but it gives us a good idea. Mm-hmm. We good?
Yep, go for it.
Okay. Look at that. 97 mile an hour on the gun. Perfect location. Again, 98 mile an hour outside. Nice fastball high there, 97. Look at the ease in which he generates that velocity. Look at the ease in which he riles that up 100. 98. It's just so easy. Bang. Another one. Look at that. 97. That's just that. What I noticed with that is that there's not a huge windup. It's just a very easy delivery. There's not too much herky-jerky motion or anything like that. It's a slight flick of his arm and generates 100 mile an hour. I'm incredibly impressed with the movement and the pinpoint location on some of those fastballs. Fastballs were located perfectly outside or up, wherever he wants it to go, it goes. That's a sign of a really good pitcher. So it looks like he solved that issue that he had with location. And there's not a huge wind up or anything like that. It's a very easy motion, nice, easy, repetitive motion too. I think he's been working on that. It just seems a little bit more. There just seems to be a lot more smooth in his delivery.
Yeah.
What you guys have picked out of that, certainly agree with. And if you hear the movement on those pitches is insane. Rob, what are you seeing from that very quick video? Admittedly,
the stuff's electric, man. Like he's just coming back from Tommy John, and the velocity's there. A lot of times when you see a guy come back, it takes a little bit to get the velo back to where it once was, but he's touching high 90s, triple digits, and he's making it look easy. And I keep mentioning that changeup. As long as he has that third pitch in his arsenal, he's going to be good. I don't know. Is he going to be Cy Young? Probably not, but can he give us quality innings each start? Absolutely. That's what you're looking for right now. You're looking for him to give you quality innings. And if he can be that guy with the stuff he has, how else are you going to know what you have in the kid? I saw a lot of people immediately saying, oh, he needs to be in the bullpen. Oh, he's the future closer. Why? Why are you giving up on a guy who, unfortunately, very early in his career had Tommy John when he showed he had the potential to be a good starting pitcher? Now, if he struggles this year, you might make that conversation, but he's shown in the spring that he's got the stuff. So now it's about going out there and doing it in real games that actually matter and doing the same thing he was doing in the spring. He's going to be going against a much tougher competition. So he's going to have a real test. And I think it was the right call. The stuff's there. The numbers were there, and he earned it. So I'm very happy for him.
Yeah, and what I noticed the most, right? Velocity can be masked if you don't have it by having just elite control of the strike zone. And that was what, we all know the velocity is there. I'm watching that clip, and what caught my eye the most is the catcher's glove barely moves.
Yes.
Okay. Barely moves, if it moves at all, which means he is commanding the strike zone without a flaw. That tells me that's what they will look. That's what I look at with a catcher. Can I close my eyes, put my glove up, and catch the ball? That tells me that the pitcher and the catcher are in sync. They know exactly how the ball is going to be moving. They know the velocity that's coming in. They know exactly pinpoint where that ball is going to go, where the both of them can close their eyes and still get outs. The lack of movement on the catcher's glove and the precision of the pitch did this. It was absolutely the right move.
Excellent point. That means that shows to me again that his location has been improved significantly since before. He looks like he's a much smoother motion. Rob, what are you noticing about his delivery?
It's repeatable.
Yeah.
That's I think that's key right there. Is nothing is really changing around. You mentioned it earlier, not a lot of moving parts, right? It's not like a long wind up or anything like that. It's a repeatable delivery. It's a quick delivery. And the fact that the velo is there with ease every single time. And that's a fantastic point that Tats brought up. That glove does not move. And that's something that you want to see. If you want to have a good battery, good rapport with the pitcher and catcher, hey, put your glove up. I'm going to hit the spot. Like, that's usually a good sign. Now we'll just see if he puts it all together in the regular season. So let's see what they do. And NFE bringing up some interesting news here that Beater's making the opening day roster.
He's earned it. He's absolutely earned it. He's been fantastic. Very happy about that. Again, I love that the Yankees are giving the opportunities to people that earned it. They're not going just whatever they had in their minds at the start of spring training. Because I'm sure that Luis Gil probably wasn't in their consideration to be a starting rotation candidate at the start of spring, but he opened eyes. Same with Beater. He opened eyes, Ron Marinaccio, I'm sorry, he didn't earn it. He didn't earn it. He pitched terribly. So I'm sorry you can't get in the bullpen. So we've given the opportunity to people that earned it. I think that's an excellent thing. That's what the Yankees did last year with Volpe. Volpe outplayed Peraza and merited the starting shortstop job. So, the Yankees are starting to give the opportunities to people that have earned it in spring. I love to see that. It shows that, your hard work is paying off and your hard work is being noticed around the organization. And I think that's a great sign for accountability's sake.
No, what it is you're seeing that they're giving the roster spots to the merit of the player, not the contract of the player. And that's when you know that you're on the road to really getting things corrected from past mistakes. Right? We've seen so many times, it's like we could have used Peraza a lot last year. We've talked about this extensively. But Donaldson kept getting the nod because they had to justify paying the money.
Fact.
That should never happen. And it's almost like, we're seeing with injuries. They might try to pussyfoot around the initial shock of it, and their first release of it. But at least they're being proactive with getting players to treatment before the season starts. We're already seeing that, gradually LeMahieu's getting, he's ramping up more and more batting practice, fielding drills. So he's closer to coming back than we think. Does he play opening day? I still believe that's a question mark. I don't think he should. I don't want to rush him. I don't think you force him back just to have that, he made the opening day. This is not the year to be doing that. But you're seeing that the Yankees, we're watching the philosophy of the organization change this offseason. And we're seeing it carry into the spring. And it has to leave you optimistic that it's going to carry to the regular season.
I mean, to your point, Luke Weaver was probably penciled in as the automatic fifth starter if anybody went down. So you would have thought that, having signed him in free agency, that they would maybe give him the leg up if there was somebody that went down. In this case, it was Cole, and they didn't do it. They went with the upside. I love that because I think this time last year, I think they probably would have gone with the contract rather than the upside. The Yankees look like they're paying attention to upside now, and they're giving opportunities to people that have earned it. I'm a big proponent of that. I'm very happy to see that. I also have a video of Luis Gil back in 2021. Let's see if we can find the comparisons. Should we look at the comparisons to see what it's like then to now, and if there's any noticeable difference? I think that could be an interesting comparison to make here. Let's have a look and see here. Right, let's go. No, I'll just put it on mute so we can talk about it. Okay, so I don't know. I think now we're seeing it's a little bit of a smoother motion, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but
this
the slider
is a little more forced.
The slider is still ridiculous. That slider
not he's not pushing the pitch. You just it's just a lot smoother.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think the motion, the delivery is much more repeatable now. But I'm loving that slider. If that slider is just electric, guys.
Well, this stuff has always been there. I think that we've been, I think we would have had,
beautiful,
less question marks about Gil these last couple of years if it wasn't for the injury. The injury really did derail our expectations of him. But we're seeing, even though he's kind of tightened up his delivery, the stuff has always been there. That's why a lot of people, coming off the injury, I know Rob alluded to earlier, a lot of people wanting him in the pen or the closer. And I was one of those guys that if they would have made that decision, I couldn't be mad at it. Because coming off the injury, do you want to limit his innings? And just let him just, slide back into an everyday, a routine. But
damn, look at those sliders, man. They're electric.
That's filthy.
Yeah. Do you know, I'm getting a bit of Santana vibes with his delivery. What do you think?
Johan Santana?
Yeah, a little bit.
I don't know. I never studied his delivery so I really can't give a fair opinion on that.
Maybe the quickness of it, because Santana had a little more did a little bit more in his delivery. Like he would bring the glove a little bit higher up. But in terms of the quickness.
Yeah, I think that's what I meant. For sure.
It's a very quick delivery, which works well in the pitch clock era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the ease in which he generates the velocity, and those sliders are just disgusting.
Now he has a third plus pitch. It's going to help him tremendously.
The changeup?
Yeah. I can't stress it enough. Now that he has a third pitch to go with it, and this goes back to Matt Blake conversation.
Yeah.
Dude's a wizard when it comes to getting guys that need a third pitch to learn a third pitch. And this is why I wanted Cabrera so badly, because I wanted to see what he can do with a guy like Cabrera, because Gil is kind of similar in the fact that he had command issues. As good as the stuff was, the command was a problem, and you're seeing it now. That's not really an issue. So it's good to see that the work is going into it, and you're getting results quickly. And that just really goes to show you how good Matt Blake is at his job. That pitching factory that they talk about, It's real. And Brad, listen here, Captain Kangaroo. You want to call Li my mate one more time? Don't do it. He's not my mate. Stop calling him that, please. Brad, trust me. I see it on Twitter too. I don't need to be reminded. Stop calling him my mate. And this guy is far from my friend. Trust me on that one.
Let me tell you, Li is. I will say that he is going crazy not being on the channel.
Oh, could you imagine if he was in the chat watching this while we're bigging up Luis Heel, who for some reason he's concocted in his pea brain that he's he's the enemy of the state and that he's like totally anti Luis Heel. He'd be having a meltdown watching this video as we're talking about how
no doubt.
98 fastballs.
He took the bait while we're playing. No, he did. What's to be pissed off about? That's what I don't get either. Like if they say they would have said, "All right, we're gonna have Luis Heel as a long man so we can still build his innings up, but we're gonna have Warren as the fifth pitcher." I'm not complaining about either. For somebody that and we've been saying, the narrative has been let the kids play. They're letting the kids play. They didn't go and sign it, or trade for a veteran to fill the void for Cole. They're trusting the youth that they've developed, saying, "Hey, our development is good enough where we can fix this from within." So they're actually trusting themselves and their work. So what's going on, Dev? But it's
what up, Joe? There's something. Anyway, I don't want to spend the chat talking about this guy, but
let's not do that.
Let's go back to this. Neil says 2017 Severino, and in the Luis Heel video there. What do you guys think?
Well, no, he said because I don't think that's true though, because Severino did pitch in 2016. He pitched out of the bullpen late that season because he sucked early 2016. I remember because
he got sent back down, right?
He got sent down, then he pitched out of the bullpen, and then everyone thought he was like, "Oh, well, they did that to Rivera, so he'll be the next Mo." But then 2017, he was phenomenal. So I don't know if maybe you got the years mixed up there, Sunil, because there was a year that he missed all due to injury and then came back and pitched pretty well. I think it was did he miss all of 2019 or he missed a lot of time? That's all I know. But 2016, he definitely pitched 2016. I can tell you that much. He was out of the bullpen though.
Yeah, I think 2017 was the year they put him. No, that was the year he pitched in the pen.
2017, he was in the rotation.
He was in. And then sent him back down. They used one of his options. And they sent him down to fix himself. And then when they brought him back, he put him in a pen.
No, 2017, he was pitching fine. He was like our ace.
So maybe it was the year before then that he got it. Maybe 16 he did.
Well,
I remember they used one of his options.
Why don't we just get? Well, you know what this wonderful thing called Google is? You'll just Google. His innings.
He was called up in 2015. 2016, he stunk. They sent him down. Then he pitched out of the bullpen, and then 2017 he was a starter. 2018 he was one of the best pitchers in baseball until the second half derailed him, and then he got the injuries. 2019, 20, 21, 22 he was hurt like all the time.
Yeah, and then Spencer just texted me 2018 was the year he got rocked by the Sox in ALDS.
Yeah, he got smacked around.
Here's his numbers. 2016 he was 3-8 with a 5.83 ERA. So that was a bad year for him in 2016. 2017 he was 14-6 with 2.98 ERA, 31 games pitched. He only pitched 22 games in 2016. 2018 was when he was ridiculous and was 19-8 with a 3.39, 32 starts, and a shutout. So it was 2016 that he struggled.
Mm-hmm. Don't badmouth our ace.
Yeah, that's the Mets ace right there, Luis Severino.
Nick, right on cue, bud. Right on cue.
Nice entry, bro.
But no, it's look, the comparisons between Hill and Severino, they're two different pitches. You want to compare the injury timeline. I think that's okay, but Hill is, he'll each player stands on their own, regiment, their own routine, their own delivery, their own release points. So, I'm not worried about it. I'm really
I can
not.
see the comparison though, because they're very similar in the terms that when they both came up, they only had 2 pitches, fastball, slider, high velocity fastball, brilliant slider. Until Sevy got that third pitch, which I believe was a changeup, that's when he really took off because he didn't have it in 2016. That's why they demoted him to the bullpen, and he was great. It's like, wow, fastball, slider out of the bullpen. There's your next closer. But 2017, he got that changeup better, and he became a really good, one of the best pitchers in the American League for 2 straight years. And then the injuries really got to him. Heel pitched really well for half a season, and then the injury got him. I'm hoping he's past that because you're seeing him developing that third pitch. Fastball, slider's already there. Now it's time to go in there. He's a number 5 starter, so there's really no pressure on him, but you really do see that he's got all the stuff to be like a high end of the rotation type of pitcher, where Warren is probably like a number 3, number 4 at best. And it's no disrespect to Will Warren. His stuff just isn't electric like Luis
exactly.
Heel. Yeah, Heel's going to have 3+ pitches. Warren's got like 6 different pitches that he can pitch well, but it's probably a guy that you're going to see the middle of the rotation where Heel, if he's healthy, could be a number 2. Like that's the kind of stuff he has.
Well, that's why I said the edge went to Heel because he already has been called up once before. So he already has those, the rookie rust has been shaken off a little bit. Even though it was a very small sample, he's already had the experience and the pressure and the nerves of that first official start, as opposed to Warren, because there was no wrong decision.
Well, I agree that Luis Heel was the one to go for, because my opinion is that I wanted to give our rotation a little bit of a different look. So when you have Nestor Cortes, he's not going to miss any bats, right? Stroman is a contact pitcher. He's a ground ball pitcher. Rodon's one is definitely a swing and miss pitcher. There just wasn't enough swing and miss pitchers in our starting rotation. So I felt that adding Luis Heel was something that was a really nice addition to our rotation, because it just gives us a different look, right? For other teams, you don't want other teams to get comfortable, right? So if other teams are facing a Nestor Cortes, they're like, great, I'm gonna feast. And then the next time you're facing another guy that's more of a contact ground ball kind of guy, then you get kind of comfortable. So this time we've added a swing and miss, 100-mile-an-hour fastball, 98-mile-an-hour fastball, 90-mile-an-hour slider, and that's some swing and miss stuff, and it's just adds a different variety to our rotation, which I think was missing, and I'm really glad that we've added that, especially with Garrett Cole being down. You want to add that upside to the rotation that Warren just doesn't have yet.
Yeah, and I want to talk about Beater for a second. I think that's interesting because I thought they would have manipulated his service time, but what I think they're going to end up doing is they got to clear 2 spots still, because Cole's going to go on the 60-day IL, and they'll probably trade Rortvedt or DFA him. They're going to add Santana and Birdie, but Birdie has options, so they can keep him down as long as they keep him on the 40-man. So this way, because he has an opt-out in April, where Santana's is not till like May, I think. So by adding them both to the 40-man, you make sure that you keep them. But Santana kind of has to stay on the MLB roster until he's flat out bad and you DFA him or something. Where Birdie, you can keep him on that Scranton shuttle. This way, yeah, Santana has no options, but Birdie does. So this is what they're going to do. They'll probably add them both to the 40-man. Beater will make the team. Canely comes back in 2 weeks. Beater gets sent down, or Santana gets DFA'd if he's terrible. And then if Birdie is kind of pushing his way, there's another injury, he's the guy you call up. So that's probably what they'll do. It stinks that Birdie probably won't make the roster because I think he was fantastic, but Santana was also really good, and so was Beater. So they had a roster crunch, and only 2 of that 3 can really make it. And I'm glad they're going with Beater because I want to see what he can do. I really think he's the next Michael King. He's been my choice the whole time to be the next Michael King. I just don't think his stuff projects well out of the rotation. I think he's so much better out of the bullpen. And let's see what he can do, man. I'm excited. I'm very happy for him. And I think eventually you're going to see him there. You'll see Warren in that rotation, and it's going to be potentially the Baby Bombers 2.0 for all we know. But I think Beater's going to kill it out of the bullpen.
Yeah,
what a great trade that was. That was a great trade acquiring Beater. I mean, that guy has basically been fantastic since he's arrived. He was really good in the minors, and now we're giving him a shot, and he's earned it. I love his stuff, and I completely agree. I think he's a high leverage bullpen arm that's going to be valuable from here on out. This is it. It's great job here. We're actually going to get production out of Joey Gallo finally in the shape of Peter Pitcher. This is a great point, Brad. That's it. We actually finally got something out of it. I can't believe we actually got something from the Joey Gallo trade.
Now, real quick, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but did you guys hear the interview with Gallo about how if he could take one thing from his career away, it'd be his time from the Yankees? I'm like, good, because if we could erase one player from Yankees history, it'd be you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd still erase Katie Gallo before I erased him. Or
Yeah,
I would erase Donaldson from Yankee history
Oh,
before
I
I
know.
erase Gallo. I don't blame him for saying that though.
No, I don't either.
No, Gallo knew that he should have been like, I keep saying it. I will continue to die on this hill. He should have been the perfect player for us that year. And he just crapped the bed because he was an all-star. We needed power. We needed on base. We needed defense. He had all of that. That's exactly what we needed in 2021 because we weren't generating enough offense outside of Judge and Stanton. And he should have been the guy to put right in between them. And this lineup could have took off, but he just didn't do it. It never clicked. It sucks, but I don't blame him for saying that. And hey, we got Clayton Beater out of it. So
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
the other side to that is, and I believe we talked about it, you know, in the moment when he was here. If they would have passed up on getting him, and he continued to hit well, we'd be going, oh, let's see the Yankees. They don't know how to make, you know. So either way, the Yankees. It was looking back, it was a lose-lose situation. But I just thought that
have to say, I'm gonna flex a little bit here. I did say at the time that the trade was gonna be a mistake. Remember that?
You were not high on the trade. No,
I wasn't high on the trade.
Yeah.
The reason why is because the fact that he was a swing and miss, all or nothing guy in a lineup of swing and miss, all or nothing guys was going to be a net negative, in my opinion. That's exactly how it turned out. I didn't think that he had the makeup for the Yankees. He just looked a little bit jittery in big spots, and that's turned out how it was. But listen, you on paper, if you're following the analytics of what he added, it was a no-brainer. It was just he wasn't the right fit. But anyway, we'll move off of Joey Gallo. But I'm glad that we got something for him. I think that was a great trade. We had zero leverage in negotiations when we were getting rid of Joey Gallo and his like 0.90 batting average with a strike out 60% of his at bats. I mean, we had no leverage, and we still managed to get a really productive arm out of it. So that was a really good trade from Cashman. From originally a pretty bad trade, he's managed to get something good out of it. So I have to give him credit for that.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, like what CWE is saying here. If Beater pitches well, he's going to stay, and I believe that. I think they're going to stick with this meritocracy, type of philosophy, where if you are, being a contributor to the success of the team, they're going to continue giving you your shot. We're really seeing the tides change in the Yankees, where, like I said earlier, they're pitching to production. They're playing for production. They're not playing for contract. Just because you make the most money doesn't mean you're guaranteed a spot. You're not seeing that. Otherwise, they wouldn't be teasing us with some of these guys, knowing that Canley's going to be coming back, who's under a bigger contract and getting paid a lot more. Even though not a lot, but a lot more than these kids are making. And they might have to see Canley sitting on the bench when he gets called back up if these kids are dealing.
Plus, there's always the chance of an injury or a guy
Yeah.
that's like Loizaga stinks right now, so I'm not even entirely sure about his future.
What a
Unless
shame.
he has like a brilliant 2 weeks to start the season, I
Yeah.
don't know what they're going to do with him. Maybe you try to test the waters now to see if anyone would take him off your hands. Just I just don't know with him. Maybe just scenery does him good. Kind of like with well, no, Luis Sessa was actually the opposite. He was great for us and sucked elsewhere, but I don't know. I just don't know what it is with Loizaga. I know the injuries hurt him, but his stuff is like top notch. There's a lot of players that have said they don't want to face him because his stuff is so filthy, yet he's getting lit up this spring. So you wonder if he just never fully recovered from all those injuries. I really don't know what the case is with Loizaga, but that's a guy that could be or should have been the closer. Like that's how good his stuff was. He should have been the closer and Holmes should have been the setup, but he couldn't stay healthy. And that's really all it is.
Bullpen arms are tricky creatures. You're not guaranteed the same year, one after another. You're not guaranteed that they're going to take that step forward. Anything can happen. One slight change in your delivery or velocity can add another 2 runs to your ERA. It's that huge, and just look at, for instance, Marinaccio. When he first came up here, he looked like he was going to be the guy. He looked like he was going to be future closer, definitely 8th inning setup man. He looked like he had 1 ERA stuff, and that dude can't get anybody out right now. And he hasn't been able to get anybody out since last year. So that just shows how it's temperamental. You're not guaranteed it. And then, to Rob's point, you bring up Loizaga. Loizaga was locked in as our closer at one point. I was like, this guy is incredible. Look at his stuff. His sliders.
I was screaming for it.
We were so excited about it. And then something has happened, whether it's injuries or whatever it is, it's just changed. And that guy can't get anybody out now. He couldn't get the Little Sisters of the Poor out right now. So that's the situation that we're in. That's why I agree with what the Yankees are doing. You go with who's earned it in spring. You don't just give it automatically to whoever's got the bigger name or whoever you got an agenda for. You want to go with someone who's earned it because there's a better chance that it's going to carry over into the regular season if you've been dominant through spring in the bullpen. That's kind of what I'm seeing. So I think it's a smart call from the Yankees. I don't know how long of a leash we're going to give Loizaga if he even makes it at all. I don't think we'll have a long leash with him.
Now, what do we think from Medina's comment here? He says, I wonder if Loizaga is not fully recovered or he just lost confidence in himself and can't get anybody out. I think it's a mixture. I think that he's lost the confidence in his execution because he's afraid of getting hurt. He's afraid not to be a part of the team. So he's not going full bore, and that's preventing his pitches from doing what they're supposed to be doing. And it's really a shame.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. I think he's I don't know if he's hurt anymore, but he's probably he knows that this is his last shot. It's his last year. And if he's not good, he probably won't get paid. And that's really what it comes down to. So he's probably trying too much. His stuff is too good for him to have to be pushing and pushing and pushing like that. If he just pitches, he's going to get guys out. But maybe he's just kind of trying too hard. We've seen that before with bullpen arms, and that's how they get themselves hurt. Remember Zach Britton a few years ago? Tried to push himself too hard and got hurt, and he missed a lot of time that year. So I don't know. It's so unfortunate because that dude probably has some of the best stuff I've seen since Betances, at least from our homegrown guys. Like Betances' stuff was disgusting out of the bullpen. I think Loizaga had a chance to be better. That's how good his stuff was.
Really unfortunate.
Yeah, the 1-2 punch was, I always thought it was going to be Betances to Loizaga. And at that point, that's like going, back to when it was Mariano and Stanton. Where you had these guys where it was just, it was done. Once you got to the 8th, 9th, done. There was no chance in hell. You were getting through those two guys. And Betances and Loizaga had the same chemistry. They both had their stuff was so filthy that once you got to that it was supposed to be game over because you had to fight not one but two closing pitches. And it's a shame. And yeah, it's just last year. And as much as I've always tried to will Loizaga into being a solid pitcher, I'm not signing him. I'm letting him go. I'm moving on.
Well, we do. Yeah, I mean, it's still early. I mean, it's only spring, but I agree with that. That is probably not looking good for him. Let's detour before the end of the show. There's a couple more things we should talk about. One of which, Jim Bowden says that the market is finally set for Jordan Montgomery, and a signing is probably going to happen this week with him. So he's probably going to be signing this week. So he says in a tweet yesterday, according to a source, Montgomery has two teams offering him long-term contracts. His market is finally set, and it's getting competitive. 4 playoff teams: Arizona, the Phillies, the Yankees, the Astros have lost significant starters to injuries. He says, but this is where it doesn't make sense. Then the next sentence: Red Sox, Yankees are still involved to some degree. Like, isn't that a bit of a contradiction if you're naming the 4 teams that are that are very much in it, and then the next sentence, the Yankees are still in it to some degree? Do you know? It's like that wording is really weird. But what we take away from that is that that it doesn't look like the Yankees are in the forefront in the negotiations. If the sentence says Yankees are still in it to some degree, that means that they're an outsider. So he the next tweet after that subsequently was, he says, keep an eye out for Arizona and the Orioles for Jordan Montgomery. If the Orioles add Montgomery and Corbin Burns and the Yankees do nothing, I don't even know what to say. But I did reply to Bowden saying, could you repeat that tweet, man? Because the way you worded it didn't make any sense. But the way you list the Yankees, the Astros, and then the next sentence, the Yankees are still in it to some degree. Well, which one is it?
Well, they got to say the Yankees. They got to say the top teams first because you want to get that click. And you fell for it. But no, of course they're going to throw the Yankees into it because that drives up the price. You know, it changes the narrative because teams will make an offer for a player to prevent them to go into the Yankees. So I think that's why they keep throwing the Yankees into this. I think the Yankees moved on. No, that's just...
I don't know if they were ever actually in it, to be honest.
Because
the only people that said they were Heyman, who's obviously Boris's top guy, and clearly he's got voted on the payroll also. So, I mean, look, I didn't agree with it the other day when Tats brought up Baltimore because I didn't think the ownership change is going to go into effect that quickly. Apparently it is. So that makes them an option. But I kept saying it last year that he was perfect for the Orioles. And now he might go there. But I still think the Phillies are the team that's going to pony up the most money at this stage. I don't know why Boston won't sign him. They should absolutely sign him. Maybe Arizona jumps in too because they need it. I mean, at this point, the fact that it's March 25th and now his market's taking shape.
Yeah,
March 25th, and the second or the third best pitching pitcher on the market is third or fourth, whatever you want to put him. Now his market's taking shape. Good job, Boris, you moron. You just cost your freaking clients millions of dollars.
Yep. Look at the money Snell left on the table by listening to his agent and turning down the Yankees. You know, we went over that. But I don't know if Nick's still in the chat, but why aren't the Mets all over this? They need pitching so badly. Why?
So do the Red Sox.
I mean, huh?
So do the Red Sox.
Yeah, but the Mets need to compete, and at the end of the season, they need a whole new pitching staff. 4 out of their 5 guys are all free agents.
But they're going to sign Juan Soto, so it's perfectly fine. Doesn't matter.
Do the Mets?
They'll have Soto and maybe Alonso, because who knows if they're going to have money for him. But they'll have no pitching. Way to go, Mets.
I'm not sure if the Mets are going to compete this year. I don't think they are at all. I think the plan is to reset and go again next year in 2025. I think because they screwed it up so badly last year that all their contracts were dead weight, that they need to reset with a new general manager, new manager. I think they're basically going to be like a third place team in the NL East this year. I don't think that they're going to be any kind of competitive team. I can agree with Damien here. The Mets do not have a playoff team as good, but I like the Martinez pickup. That was a really good pickup.
Yeah, he made too much sense for them. Look, they have a ton of money coming off the books next year because Verlander and Scherzer both are off the books for them. They still got to pay Alonso. They need to get a whole new staff, like you mentioned. I mean, do they get Soto? I don't know. Probably not. But they have a lot of work to do. But they do have a ton of money, and they do have an owner that's willing to spend that money immediately again. So and they have the funds to go do it. They have a decent farm system too. I mean, if they want to get a head start on next year, they could give Montgomery a 4-year deal or something like that. That could be an option for them. But I don't know. That just right now, the way that team is built, their rotation's not good. Their bullpen's really not that good. Their lineup can be good. They might lose a lot of 8 to 7 games this year because that bullpen has been bad for a long time and it still really hasn't been improved. So I don't know. I'm just trying to look from the outside looking in here. So Nikki, if you can correct me, I don't know if you can trust that bullpen. Who do they add to it? Jorge Lopez. Who do they add to the rotation? Severino, Manaya, who was a bullpen arm last year, and Adrian Hauser. Kodai Senga's hurt. So, like, there's your best guy. Quintana's just coming back from injury. He's your number one right now. So, I don't know. And then you got, I think, was it Darryl Strawberry and Doc Gooden said the 86 Mets would beat the 98 Yankees. And that cuck on Twitter, Ben Yole's like, oh, it's no question. They'd kick the Yankees' ass. And I was just thinking about when Tat said earlier, how do you get through that 8-9 of Stanton or Nelson and Rivera? And you think the 86 Mets, who needed a miracle, the ball to go through Buckner's legs, are going to beat the 98 Yankees? So whatever the Mets were smoking in 86, whatever they mixed with the cocaine they were snorting, they're giving it out to the fans now to believe that bullshit. So keep believing, keep living in the past in the 80s when the miracle Mets were around, and keep believing your bullshit narrative that you're going to take Soto from us next year. That's all you have. Keep smoking the good stuff, Mets. That's all you got to do right now. It's all you can do right now. Keep smoking the good shit.
See, that's why Nick's the only Met fan allowed in the chat.
Exactly.
He'll call them out before we do.
Nick is exempt from all my Met hating. I have zero. The Mets are just completely insignificant to me, but Nick is a very knowledgeable fan, a very welcome member to our channel. So Sunil, you should respect that, please. Your little message in your comment, that wasn't really what we expect on this channel, especially considering he's a family member of Uncle T. But what about the fact that we don't know who we got playing third base other than Oswaldo Cabrera? Is Oswaldo Cabrera going to play third base at a high standard?
I think as long as it's temporary till DJ comes back, I think we'll be fine. You know, you're starting to see the last couple of days, Cabrera's looking a little more comfortable again. He's showing glimpses of what we were hoping that he could, he would be. So as much as, yes, it's a gamble, I don't think it's the worst case scenario to have Cabrera, as long as they also have a reliable guy behind him. Is it going to be, like who would be the backup, third baseman? Because I had said on the upper deck yesterday with Lynn, my concern is not third base right now. My concern is first base. Because we don't know what we're going to get. Is Rizzo going to be ready? His backup first baseman was LeMahieu, and he's not available. So what do you do for first base now?
Fair point.
Well, Rizzo said he's confident he's going to play opening day. So let's just until we get news on that, let's just assume he's going to be out there. And Cabrera can play first as well. Maybe they add Matt Duffy, who was just let go. That's a guy who can play second, third, and first. He had a decent bat last year, at least a guy that can come off the bench and maybe hit. I still don't know why Solano hasn't been signed. He'd be perfect for this team right now. Jahmai Jones has put his name into the conversation. He's hit the cover off the ball lately, but he only plays like second in the outfield, so he doesn't really serve a purpose. Ben Rice, Damian, I still need to see it at a higher level before I believe it. And I don't know what his defense is like at first base. Yeah, I mean, Rizzo for now, but you kind of need that backup. And with LeMahieu hurt, that backup would be Cabrera, but he's going to be playing third. So who's your first baseman off the bench?
Exactly.
So there's a concern at both corners right now. DJ's injury and Peraza's injury has really, really hurt this bench going into the season. Because if Peraza was healthy, we wouldn't be having a conversation right now. Peraza's third base, Cabrera's the backup to everything. So they should still be looking to add a veteran bat, though. I think Duffy would fit this team pretty well because he's been in camp, and that might be a direction they go because he wouldn't cost you too much anyway. And he'd have a guaranteed spot. I think Texas let him go. He had a decent spring, and he had a decent average last year. OPS wasn't nothing to be happy about, but he's not a power guy. I think he was like a 260 hitter, so maybe you go with that.
There's no shoot about it. They have to. Our bench was kind of questionable even going into spring. It's now a massive, massive chasm-sized hole they need to fill. It's a great point. Rizzo, if Rizzo needs to sit for a day, who's coming in? Who's coming in? If Cabrera is playing third base, covering third base, while LeMahieu is hurt, who's playing first base? Who's on first? And that's a real significant question that has yet to be answered. The Yankees need to get moving here, right? It's not hard to add bench pieces, right? It's not like you're giving up a 3 or 4 year contract to a pitcher. Just go and sign a dude that's been released or whatever you need to do. Get Solano, get somebody in, but they need someone that can cover these positions. It's honestly, it's astounding that we're almost an opening day and we don't have a backup utility infielder. It's absolutely mind-boggling to me, especially considering the injury history that's attached to Rizzo and DJ LeMahieu. It makes zero sense. I mean, these guys aren't 22. These guys they're towards the tail end of their career. They're still very good, but still towards the tail end. You need cover for them, right? If you got a fourth outfielder to help spell Aaron Judge and Stanton, etc., and Verdugo, then you sure as hell can add a backup utility infielder. They should have done that as soon as Peraza went down. That's exactly when they should have done it, in order to allow these guys to ingratiate themselves into the roster and get used to the surroundings. Now, whoever we pick up has no time to get ingratiated. They just have to, just pick it up and run with it. So, very odd way of doing things. I'm quite surprised. There's some things the Yankees have done great as a front office this offseason and spring, and some things that just leave me scratching my head, and that's definitely one of them.
Well, they still got a few days, so more guys are getting cut. Maybe they do it. But yeah, because right now your first baseman, assuming Rizzo's healthy, you have Torres, Volpe, and then Cabrera is your third baseman. I don't want Wells anywhere near first base.
Yeah,
TC. I saw TC bring that up. He needs to be the catcher. He's done perfectly fine behind the plate. If anything, you might put Rortvedt over there if you can't get a trade partner. Maybe they can use Rortvedt and like a bullpen arm or something to swing a deal for a backup infielder. Maybe something along those lines, Rortvedt and Marinaccio or something like that, just to get a backup infielder. And Torrens has also been playing first year, right, FJ? Luis Torrens has had a good spring. Maybe you go that route.
Yeah, he just missed one yesterday. Let me tell you, the wind was when it get and both teams, got hurt by it. But the Yankees, they probably lost about 3 home runs to the wind, blowing straight in the way it was. But Torrens is really making solid contact. So, and his defense is not not a problem. The bat just wasn't catching up from what I read. So, yeah, maybe Torrance does sneak into the
It's
the
possible.
final casting call.
Do you know what we haven't done yet? We haven't said hello to our chat, and I think it's well past the point where we should say hello to everybody in our chat. We definitely appreciate all the comments. Let's see what some of these comments are. Tats, read them out for us, my brother.
So we got Joe. We are weak at the corners. This year will be opposite of last year. Outfielders will play in the infield. Oh God, let's hope not. That would not be good. Joan, our lovely friend Joan. Besides, what was the? So you don't call up Jones unless he plays every day. I made the joke. I says at this point, this is if you got to trade for Gio Urshela, they might have to give up Jones. Out of desperation for an infield. Who else TC, what's going on, TC? And if you haven't, check out TC along with Hector on Morning Brew Sports over on YouTube. You all know where to find him. Let's pull up the next comment. You got
Pull it up.
We got Frederick. What's going on, Frederick? We still have to put Torrance on the 40. That's true, but that's still very possible to do. There's still a couple of days to adjust all of
that. I've been here for 57 minutes, my guy. I don't know where you've been, Sunil.
Sunil's been here. He's been arguing with the Mets fan. Sunil's been having a back and forth there.
Let's see.
We always got Jonathan.
We got Mr. Acevedo. Salute Acevedo. Got salute to John Sapola. Salute Damien Serrano. Salute. We got Nick. Salute CWE. Salute. We got FJ. Salute.
Yes, he did. TC.
Yeah, TC. Salute to TC. CWE. NFE. What up? What up? What up? What up, Brad? What did Rob call him? Captain Kangaroo? That is just some of the greatest names of all time. Let's see who else have we got here. We got everybody in the chat. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Thank you so much. Hit the like button. If there's almost 50 people in the chat, I'm sure we can get up to 35, 40 likes before we say goodbye. That would be really nice. And hit the sub button for those watching who haven't hit the sub button yet. We're climbing up to 700 subs. That would be awesome if we can hit that very, very soon.
And also, if you are not, make sure you do subscribe to the Strike Zone for NFE. He does go live on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m.
TC's asking, did I get my NYYU ticket? I sure did. I'll be seeing you on April 20th. Big salute to TC for helping me out with that. Get that ticket for the NYYU event. So it'll be me and Uncle Tats will be representing the Pinstripe Chronicles at the NYYU event at Yankee Stadium, April 20th. For anyone watching and wants to meet us, come and see us. Come and say hello.
Yep. And NFE starting there. He is 10 away from 500. He's a huge supporter of the channel, so let's support him back and get his sub count up to that 500 mark and keep the support and the family going. We all look out for each other, so make sure you go and help out NFE on the Strike Zone and check his live streams out. They are just as much fire as anybody out there. So TC, not now. I don't want to go now.
I know. I'm very disappointed. I was looking forward to
If TC's not going, I'm not going. No, it sucks, but I did get a chat. Look, I've hung out with TC and his brother Kevin and his father Jerry. They are so genuine. If I hope to see them in the States again soon. We had a good time at the game. Michael Caputo, good morning.
I let down Mr. Barros. Man, thank you so much for watching every day. Really do appreciate it.
So before we do sign off, what are we expecting from I saw that there's going to be an Ohtani statement today. He's going to be meeting the press. What do we expect?
I didn't
Well-
do anything. Leave me alone.
lies, and more lies.
Yep.
A whole bunch of lies. Oh, Sunil, your birthday's coming up in a week. What are you turning? 1006? I love you, Sunil. I'm just having fun with you.
So yeah, FJ, what's going on, FJ? We've seen you all day, all morning. Otani damage control is exactly what it is. Exactly. This is just going to be more. Let me spin the story more in my favor again, and try to distance myself from being the next player banned from baseball. So, I'm just done. Like, just let them investigate. Yeah, you don't need to have parade him into the public. He's already in the public enough.
I could see what's going to happen. He's going to use his guy. What's his name? Ikea or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He's going to use him as a fall guy, right? And then whenever there's going to be any questions that are a little bit challenging as to why the story has changed twice in 24 hours and how indeed he managed to miss 4.5 million, he's going to say no comment. Or someone beside him is going to say no comment or next question. And that's what it's going to be. It's going to be complete nonsense. I don't even see what the point is in this statement, because he's not going to come out and say that he was implicated in anything or he's involved in anything. Of course he's not. So it's going to be a waste of space. It's going to be a waste of time. The only reason why the Dodgers are doing this is to get in front of it, and MLB are doing it is in order to try and make it look like it's all under control. Meanwhile, from what I understand, there's a lot of investigating going on behind the scenes. Yeah. And I would love to know a bookie that would be quite happy for anyone to run up $4.5 million worth of bets without it being covered.
See, that's where MLB is they got a serious problem, because they cannot make it even slightly appear that they're sweeping anything under the rug. They already embarrassed themselves with the Astros, where they gave immunity to the players for spilling the guts on, for throwing everybody else under the bus. They can't make the same mistake twice. Say, all right, Otani, look, if you're honest with us, we'll and tell it, and you wink, wink, tell us who was involved. We'll let it go. They can't do that this time.
For me, that's why I know that Otani's involved, because I don't believe one bookie would allow anyone to run up that level of debt without knowing that it can be covered, without knowing that there's a huge, huge backing to know that bet will be covered, because no one is going to allow that kind of debt to transpire. No bookie is going to be like to allow him to run up $4.5 million worth of debt without knowing that they can afford to pay it back instantly. Right? So he must know that Otani was the principal backer or Otani was involved. Do you see what my point is with that?
I did not see this, but I got to look that up. No, I think it's going to raise more questions than answers.
Right. What I asked was, do you see my point with the fact that with the bookie running up that level, allowing that level of debt to be?
I said that in the beginning, so I do agree with you. There's not one bookie that's going to let a low level guy, raise the debt that high.
Exactly, without knowing that there's a principal backer that could come and cover that debt instantly. So that means that either Otani is the main backer or Otani's involved. There's no way that they would allow that to happen. None.
And you don't get 4 million or whatever the number is robbed from you and not know about it. I said that the other day. It's not. He has to have some sort of alert on his phone. Even if you sent the wire transfer yourself, someone would be like, "Hey, you're giving away $5 million here. Is everything okay? Is this you doing it?" They would have called him. His name is on the transfers as well. You don't get robbed of $5 million and go, oh, gee, what happened to my money? Even if you're a billionaire, you're going to, where the fuck did this $5 million go? Like you're going to be like, obviously something's going up here. So, and this Ipe guy, like no one knows about it. He's apparently said he worked for the Red Sox, and the Red Sox like, no, he didn't. And like, he's like making up lies about his past, like what colleges he went to. And I'm like, I don't know who this guy is anymore, but you're telling me that Ohtani was best friends with him and didn't know this stuff was going on? Like, come on. It's obviously, it's just, it's a mess. And until we get an actual answer, why couldn't Ohtani have spoken the other day? Why is he waiting till now? Because he had to get the right script. And who's going to be talking for him because he doesn't have a translator anymore? Or does all of a sudden he know how to speak perfect English? Because Mike Trout said he's pretty good at English, and now they got to get a whole new interpreter. What's going on here? It's pretty wild. Until we get all the facts, I'm just going to try to keep my mouth shut. Although the jokes are pretty funny. The memes have been outstanding.
One thing we know is it's there's high stakes involved. This is not like you're placing a bet on Bet365. Like, there's obviously some serious people that Ipe has been involved in. Probably some really, really bad mofos in order for him to be running up this kind of debt. And as I say, it's not like you're placing a routine bet with someone legit. It's obviously something not right. There's obviously something not right going on here, because you don't run up that level of debt. No one would allow you to run up that level of debt. And also, there'd probably be some serious repercussions if you did run up that kind of debt. That's what I've not even mentioned yet. Unless you knew that there was someone that had someone from the inside that could pay that money back, or is involved in some way. So that makes me think that Ipe was making bets in baseball for sure.
Yeah, the thing that they've been very careful of to protect their cash cow is, they keep using the interpreter's name and the lawyer's name. They're not really, but it's always an association with Ohtani.
Excuse me.
Oh yeah. No, if he had signed in New York,
we don't know who he's dealing with. He could be dealing with fucking Japanese Yakuza. They're no joke.
Yeah, exactly.
They ain't no joke.
So who knows what's going on here? Because there ain't no way they're going to let him. No, I'm not going to get into that whole conversation. But until we find out more facts, but there's no way that any normal bookie is going to let this go down without knowing, like Donald said. So, yeah, I mean, this is such a shaky situation, but it doesn't look good for Ohtani. Definitely doesn't look good for his buddy.
One thing I can say for sure is he doesn't know anything about sports. If he's managed to run up $5 million worth of debt, he couldn't make one decent bet. Good Christ.
We'll have to take the Bush nickname away from Mr. Barrows and give it to the interpreter.
No, definitely can't do that.
Nick brought up earlier why he hasn't been suspended. Why is he not suspended under the code of conduct rules? Especially if you're being in an association with gambling.
Wire fraud.
Because they already came out and said that they didn't find anything, so they're trying to protect him. So they came out immediately and said he's not under investigation, but now he is. So there you go.
It's wire fraud.
Yeah. Money, exactly.
Yep.
I think eventually something's going to come out, and then MLB will be forced to take action. But until then, they'll hope that this horse and pony show is going to cover them today.
I think that's true too. They don't care. What a shame. It really is, because he, as much as I like to get on Ohtani and rip apart, his play, and all the overreactions to him being the greatest thing since, sliced bread. But it really would be a shame to lose, if they really did have to lose him from the game. So I'm not going to cover up for the guy. That's what they can't do. They can't do a cover up. and try to just play past the buck on all that, because it's terrible.
It's just common sense, but I mean, as a player, I love watching him, but it just doesn't pass the smell test. It's just any kind of level of suspending your belief, you'd have to suspend it way beyond the realms of possibility to think that he has nothing to do with this. Like, it just doesn't make any sense at all.
Yep. Yeah, it doesn't. But we'll see what they say. Like Rob said, we could talk about it. We could throw our opinions out there, but until we get more information, there's no reason to put any absolutes on what ramifications are going to come, because we don't have all the information. But that is going to wrap things up for us today. Everybody that has come and spent their morning with us, stay tuned on our social medias, because we are going to be adjusting the schedule a little bit this week with opening day. So make sure you have that notification bell hit, so when we do coordinate the rest of the week, you guys will be the first to get the notifications when we are going live. So with that being said, make sure you hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit that bell, and share this out with your friends, your family, the strangers on the corners. And as I always say, wear your pinstripes of pride and play hard.